A weird dream I always had as a child. In the dream, I was sitting in the back seat of our family's blue Chrysler. My dad was driving, and we were on our way to the next town over. That town had the swimming center where I was learning to swim. I had asthma as a child, and this was a place specifically for kids with respiratory issues to train and earn their swimming diplomas. The dream always started the same, calm, normal. But as we approached the center, something would change. Right as the car entered the gate, I'd see something so vivid, so real, that it still feels burned into my mind. A friend of my brother's was there, being forcibly dragged by his parents toward the building. He was crying, clawing at the ground, desperate to get away, but they wouldn't stop. Behind him, a massive line of children with their parents stretched out, all being pulled forward, none of them willing, none of them smiling. I recognized every single child in that line. They were kids I knew from school, from the neighborhood, but they didn't look right. Their faces were pale, their movements stiff, their eyes blank like they weren't really there. I remember feeling this overwhelming sense of dread, like my stomach was tying itself into knots. I begged my dad to turn the car around, but he wouldn't even look at me. He just kept driving, completely silent, completely focused on getting us inside. When we entered the facility, everything shifted. The world outside faded, and the inside felt wrong. The lighting was dim, almost non-existent, and the hallways were eerily quiet. It had this strange, lifeless atmosphere like what I'd now describe as liminal, but at the time it just felt suffocating. I was led through a series of blank, featureless rooms. No windows, no furniture, just sterile white walls. I didn't see anyone else, but I could hear muffled noises, faint crying, low whispers, things shuffling just out of sight. Eventually, I was forced into this darkened area that looked like an operating room. It had this sickly glow to it, as if the light bulbs were dying, and the air felt thick, almost unbreathable. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. All I could do was lie there, staring up at the flickering light, waiting for something to happen. That's when I'd wake up every single time, right before whatever was going to happen actually happened. What's strange is that I've never had issues with swimming, pools, or doctors. I wasn't scared of them at all as a kid. But this dream? It came back over and over again, exactly the same, down to every single detail. Even now, as an adult, I can still see it so clearly. The blue Chrysler, the crying kids, the dim hallways, the operating room. It feels like something I shouldn't remember, but somehow do.